Since its inception in 1962, Spider-Man has only had 4 good games. After years of awful Spider-Man games, it seemed like the web-slinger just couldn't pull himself out of mediocrity with shit open-world gameplay and underwhelming linear level design. Until 2018, when Marvel Spider-Man from Insomnioids Games released exclusively on the PlayStation 4 and single-handedly saved the entire Spider-Man franchise with the best web-swinging mechanics since Spider-Man 2 and of all time. With the best gameplay, the best story, the best graphics, the best characters, the best bitches, and the best New York, Spider-Man PS4 was met with universal critical and fan acclaim, and is considered the greatest superhero game of all time. Like the Batman Arkham games, this game truly makes you feel like Spider-Man. The web-swinging traversal, in particular, received unanimous praise. Electronic Gaming Monthly said it was a more streamlined version of a physics-based system used in Spider-Man 2, while Game Revolution praised the way it conveyed speed and movement. Game Informer said web swinging was so much fun that they never used the game's fast travel system. And today, I'm here to tell you why Spider-Man PS4's web swinging is objectively awful, and you are a Insomnioid spider cultist for believing otherwise and defending your sacred golden web swinging cow. Now, first, let us examine exactly how web swinging functions in Spider-Man PS4. Web swinging in the game is simple. If you hold down the R2 button, Spidey will throw at a line that attaches to the nearest building, and then you're off. Release the button, and Spider-Man will release the line and fly through the air. Now already this web swinging fails at a conceptual level, as in order to even take off on a web swing requires Spider-Man to already be off the ground. There is, in fact, an invisible force preventing Spider-Man from even being able to make contact with the ground during a web swing. Compare this to the objectively best Spider-Man swinging from Web of Shadows. Pressing the web swinging button with your feet on the ground causes Spider-Man to web zip and get some starting momentum for his web swing, which he immediately transitions into, rather than allow some retarded invisible game physics force stop him from touching the ground. Web of Shadows Spidey refuses to let anything stop him as he just runs along any surface he touches while web swinging. You can also press X to shoot out a quick vertical line, which is useful for angling around corners or zipping over to a perch, and you can use the trigger buttons together to shoot a freely targeted line that will bring you to wherever you're aiming. Web of Shadows only continues to absolutely dominate PS4, as it has no time for ridiculous aiming controls, as the left trigger is dedicated to spider sense and locking onto enemies to demolish them with the game's vastly superior combat system. But I'm wool gathering, I apologize. While the right trigger is entirely dedicated to web swinging and zipping. Meanwhile, the jump button can be used during web swinging to gain a limitless amount of forward momentum. Unlike PS4, which only allows Spider-Man to web zip twice in a row before losing altitude, Web of Shadows web swinging allows you to endlessly rocket yourself forward at the speed of light. You literally travel so fast, you just break the laws of physics and the entire game. The game itself is just incapable of keeping up with Spider-Man's sheer speed that it has to stop him in mid-air because it physically can't handle him. But unfortunately, this only offers a temporary reprieve, as it takes only a matter of seconds for you to build your momentum back up. Like, seriously, playing PS4 after Web of Shadows only further exemplifies the underwhelming feeling of power and speed from the web swinging, as Spider-Man is not capable of swinging past a certain speed. Not only that, but his animations while web swinging are so stiff, streamlined, and boring, almost as if he feels bad about taking too much of New York's aerospace because he just doesn't want to be rude. Whereas in Web of Shadows, every time Spider-Man shoots out a new web line, he just exudes the strongest Chad energy of any Spider-Man I've seen since Tobey Maguire, just flailing his arms and legs out and about, dangling in the wind, just spreading his crotch and butthole for the entire world to see, truly exemplifying the freedom of swinging through the city on a fucking spiderweb. The only other variety the web swinging the PS4 provides are some stupid and pointless air tricks that award you minuscule amounts of XP for accomplishing, which you will almost never do because A, they suck enormous gorilla dick, and B, because in order to do them you have to input the most brain-dead button combination I've ever seen in any video game in my life. You have to hold down both triangle and circle and use the analog stick to perform tricks, which provides the most awkward and least satisfying stunts I've ever seen in my life. And the sheer stupidity of the button impress leaves you with only a few nanoseconds to let out another web line and catch yourself before you land on the ground and fuck up your whole flow. Compare once again to Web of Shadows. The air tricks in this game are minimal, difficult to do, and satisfying to pull off, as they require you to launch yourself from your current web line at just the right angle in order to get the specific trick you want. My favorite of which is Spider-Man performing a spinning cannonball maneuver that requires you to swing in a loop and launch yourself in the complete opposite direction of where you were previously traveling, which is just beautiful. And to add insult to injury, these stunts don't give you any meager rewards like 0.00001 XP points. They only serve one purpose: to be fun and look cool. Now, I already know there's going to be some micro-dick incels in the comments defending their precious PS4 web swinging, saying some stupid shit along the lines of, but PS4 web swinging is better because it's more realistic. The webs actually attach to walls. Ah, yes, thank you, rocket scientist. You must get straight A's in your elementary school. Yes, PS4 may be more realistic in that department. And what's your point? What's the point if it's boring? Realism is always the fleshlight these turbo virgins jack off to defend shit like this. But realism does not equal good, or even fun. And I highly doubt that when you're making a video game about a superhero who gets powers from a radioactive spider bite, that realism should be at the top of your list of priorities. Anyway, the too long didn't read my little middle school video essay here is that PS4 web swinging sucks, and Web of Shadows is objectively the best Spider-Man game. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you all go smash that motherfucking like button and follow me on twitter.com, and I'll talk to you all later.